Hey, okay, back again. I had a video before the Mac update for Helldivers, but well, Helldivers released and I didn't manage to, not Helldivers released, but the Mac's released and I didn't manage to upload it in time, so I scrapped that idea. So today we'll just talk about Helldivers. So first and foremost, servers are back having issues, which is fine. Well, it's not fine, but in a sense, I don't bash the developers for servers going down again. They will fix it, we just need to give them a bit of time to do so. Now the game isn't perfect. Obviously in a perfect world the game would run and there's no issues, no matter the players and no matter the strain on the servers and so on. But we are not living in a perfect world. Now the nerfs for the railgun, in my opinion, they were not bad, but I can understand why with the current rate of spawn of enemies it's hard to deal with, considering on some missions you have longer cooldowns on stratagems and so on, so you're limited even if you have a full-on 4-party. I personally enjoy playing this game solo, but I do once in a while jump in the game with some friends and so on, but primarily I just play it single player, and obviously that limits on how far I can do it alone if I wanna eliminate as many bugs out there as possible instead of going the stealth route. But my issue with the game is I think there should be a system where if you destroy the bugs, nests or the robot factories, then by all means the presence of the overall force on the planet is less. Plus, if you do more in missions, like let's say you play on a trivial mission, obviously there's only the main objective, but if you play something like easy mission or medium mission ranks, there are side objectives you can do. Doing those side objectives should contribute more towards the war impact, because currently, honestly, besides personal gain, there is no initiative for you to actually go after the side missions, because you don't contribute no more no less. And I think the whole contribution to the war effort is broken in general. By all means, the fastest way to contribute to it is to run the trivial mission and be done with it, which is I think the more you do, the more you should contribute, which would make sense, but I also can see on the other perspective why people would dislike it. It's like we're playing the same game, why can't we contribute the same? But that's a whole issue in another sphere, so to say. Now, I do love the recently added mechs. I personally do not find any issues with it having less armor in the front. It's still pretty easy to dispose of enemies that you need to do. Yes, would be better if it had more armor to speak of, but it is good and it's not too overpowered. So, and I think that's what the devs intended to make it so it's powerful, but not so powerful that you can only rely on the mech and breeze through the whole content that you're doing, which is perfectly fine. I also think that primary weapons should be more or less buffed, in my opinion. I mean, they are good depending on which ones you use, but a little bit more power to them wouldn't be too bad. But that's a personal preference. They are fine as they are currently. I have no issues using any of them for anything really. And I honestly think that the game should, how to say this, instead of having difficulty in a sense that you get spawned 7 charges, 10 Bile Titans and so on, how about just, in my opinion at least, how about you spawn that charger with a bunch of small foes, which then you would need to deal with the smaller one and the big one, and it wouldn't be too broken of a system where You have to deal with 10 of them, and then you're stuck because your stratagems are on a cooldown and you have no way to deal with them currently when all 10 of them charge you. I just think the spawn rate of heavy enemies is a bit too much, even if you play something like on challenging difficulty. And that's not even that far of a difficulty. If we take the bugs, for example. And it's like, I would say they would need to adjust the spawn rate of that. I know I saw somewhere mention that the devs are looking into it, and they possibly will change it. I mean, the game recently released, obviously. I played the first Helldivers, and it was fine in all aspects. But I also joined way later because I didn't even know the game existed. And a lot of people still don't know that Helldivers 1 existed. They only found out about Helldivers 2 success. And I mean, it's nice and all. I also like how the community was. And I would love to see the community not argue with itself, obviously, but contribute to the war effort. Well, currently, with the server issues, that's not exactly the best thing, but we can just wait until they are sorted out and the war resumes. And I do not agree with the kicking aspect of the players. There should be some sort of a system like for kicking. Let's say Final Fantasy has a system where you vote to kick, and if most people agree to kick the person, then sure, but if not, then no. There should be some sort of a system like that in the first place. Majorly why I only play for solo play in the game currently is or with friends is because I don't want to stumble upon that one lobby where a cheater just puts on all the samples on max and you're done with it. I personally, from a perspective, if that did happen, I wouldn't mind it, but like, I don't really care about the grind aspect of the game. I'm just there for the gameplay itself. So collecting the samples wouldn't really matter if I was given all the samples. I just don't like it that it's not obtained through legitimate means, which would potentially get me banned if that did happen. And the devs are kind of busy already dealing with a lot of issues, and on top of that, adding all the reports about the cheaters and so on. There are issues, quite a bit of issues in this game that needs to be fixed, but they will. Now, I think the whole system for, let's return back to the kicking people part, is not very, well, it's toxic, let's just say how it is. It's a toxic behavior, and the community is kind of going that way. I mean, I enjoy the Discord fights they have. Well, they're not even fights. They're more like dissing contests at this point. I like those, but like, at least have proper etiquette when you play the game. If you call out an SOS and you have somebody that goes and helps you out, then don't kick them out because they're doing the objective. Because if you look at it from a standpoint of somebody who's not in your friends group or anything, and you don't say anything when they join the mission, right? They are assuming you throw an SOS beacon to help you complete the main objective. So when they do go and complete the main objective or go away from your group and you don't like that, how about you just communicate? You don't have to even voice chat, just type it in or something. It's like, there is some ways for you to communicate that you want them to hang around you in a group. And the kicking for the meta stuff is like, I don't agree with the meta. Yes, I do agree with the fact that there are certain weapons that are easier to use and are better to use to dealing with certain enemy types than it is to use some other weapons. I don't agree with the whole meta thing, because any weapon can be used for any situation. Obviously, some weapons are better for certain situations. Some don't work at all in certain situations. But you can't expect to have a pea shooter penetrate a heavy enemy, now can you? But in general, each weapon can be used within a certain situation that it's sort of designed for. And And that's why I disagree with the whole meta. I mean, if you want to play the meta game, right, then go ahead, find a group, join a Discord server or whatever, find a group that will run the meta that you want. Instead of if a player joins you, you kick him because he didn't pick up a correct sentry, correct orbital strike. I think that will just make the community toxic to begin with, and nobody will play with no one unless they have metas, and those that will not have metas will resort to solo play. For me, that's personally not an issue, the solo play stuff. I play most of the games solo unless I am sort of forced to do content with other people, like Final Fantasy running dungeons. You cannot solo dungeons legitimately, and doing them not with a queue of people that results in the fact that you do not gain any experience points and so on. But like in general, I think the player base should just chill out on the meta stuff and just go with it, see how you're doing. If you don't succeed, then maybe switch out some stuff or give pointers to what a person should use. Maybe that will make your mission easier. Or like I said, find a group of people that will already do your meta stuff that you need. I also am curious about the game's future. Once all the bugs have been squared out and the servers are stable, of introducing more stuff into the game. Like personally, I would like to have something like common samples being able to be turned into rare samples and rare samples into super samples and so on. I think personally such a system should be in place, or something for you to use your extra samples on, because once you're max on the upgrades and max on the samples, there's no real use for them. They're just sitting there and there's a cap on them, so it's not like they will release some new upgrades to your ship and it's gonna be like, yep, I'ma get it, you're gonna get it, and then it's gonna be just you continuing the grind. And I also want them to add something like color customization options for the outfits, because currently everybody just looks the same if you're running the same armors. At least some customization options for armors would be nice. I did also hear that the devs are thinking of it. I also heard that the devs are thinking of skins for the mechs, which I find pretty cool. Customizing the skin of the mech will be nice. Well, in the sense that you have some options. At the very least, I don't think they're gonna implement something that you can customize willingly. And I also think that what would be a cool idea, by all means I'm not a developer and I have no idea how difficult it might be to implement this, or is it even possible. But would be cool if races that can space travel, like let's say automatons, can actually send their fleets and you can fight their fleets with your fleet of ships in some sort of way. And although I think that would be cool, I'm not sure how possible it is to have it in the game. It's just something that I would think would be cool. And honestly, I think this is where I'm gonna end the video. I'll see you guys next time.